found out that legality and morality, is not the same. They don't shake hands. They're not synonymous in the courthouse. If legality, you could be legally convicted of a crime, and you could be sent to death. You could die in prison. You could be executed in prison, but you could be morally innocent. It was legal to own slaves, but it wasn't until the people raised the bar, they took it to a moral level. When I say moral, I don't mean to put it on no religious or spiritual level. I'm speaking of the morality, the good kindness and the decency that exists in every human being if they allow it to flow through. This is the type I'm in doing chat here. When after slavery had lasted for hundreds of years, it was not until people, even though it was a legal institution, it was not did not come to fruition as we know it until the people took a moral stand against it. They saw how moral repugnant it was. So if we're serious about eliminating prison and we want prison, we have to raise the bar, because there are people in prison, has been pointed out, who are actually innocent. They are morally innocent, but they are legally guilty, and they are in prison now for the remainder of their lives. In the state where I was incarcerated and born, Louisiana, New Orleans proper, if you have a life sentence in Louisiana, Angola State Prison is the biggest maximum security prison in the nation. Not the biggest prison, but biggest maximum security prison in the nation. It could be one of the biggest prisons in the land, because they have 18,000 acres, and you have penitentiary inside of penitentiary. But if you go to Angola, you could either go there with a life sentence without the possibility of parole, probation, or suspension of sentence, unless an intervening court steps in. And if you don't have a life sentence, you have a practical life sentence, which means that you have a sentence that is so insurmountable you cannot do. There are people in Angola with 1,100 years, 1,700 years, 198 years, and they do 98% of their time, even if they did live as old as the Methuselah in the Bible, but they could not do that sentence. It's impossible to do it. So this is why I think we have to kind of raise the bar. We have to be persistent with the concept that there are political prisoners inside of the United States, despite the fact that America declines and refuses to adhere to this. We have to go further with this. We have to not only consider and realize that we'll have political prisoners in the United States, but we also have to look at every individual, whether you go to prison or not, from a political standpoint of view. Because if you're not a political prisoner in some prison, you're a political victim of some deceiving lying politicians, who tells you that, that they control your life, when in fact, power belongs to the people. We have relinquished our power. We can take this power back. All we have to do is understand. We have to broaden our concept of what constitutes. We can't let nobody put us in a box and think about what is this and what how we're going to define who is who. Let's look at the whole caboodle, let's look at this whole thing and connect it and see that this is one big evil conglomeration, and that the only way that we can actually get rid of it is to become focused, connected with it, and realize, think out the box. Don't let them tell us that if it's legal, it is holy, it is morally correct. No, legality and morality does not meet. They don't shake hands in the court, and we could go on and on and on. We are into infinity, naming political prisoners and political victims of this system. Even those of you who have never been in prison, you are victims to some degree to a corrupt political system, a lying politician. You are victimized by economically by the fact that whatever money is determined that you make within your job range, or whatever skill you have, it is determined by politicians. The toilet paper that you use, all of this is determined by politicians. So if your salary, your food, your economic means, your social means, your social being, all of this is, we allow politicians to control this. We have to we have to unrelinquish the rights that we have relinquished to politicians. We have to take another focus. We have to see political prisoners, and if we're serious about politics, and I know we are serious, but we have to allow ourselves to go beyond the concept of what constitutes a political prisoner. And of course, we're not trying to make it difficult or anything like that, but we want to make sure that we understand that everyone in this system is a victim of some form. And during Chattel, even though there were many African Americans and African rather in slavery, but you understand this, there were many whites that also in some form of psychological slavery. I am speaking of the one economic slavery, or some type of form of slavery of being a victim of deceit. Because during the course of height of slavery, you had like 12 million whites. You had maybe 4 to 5 million Africans in slavery, but you only had about 100 or so thousand people who owned these slaves. The rest of the whites lived in dire poverty, but they were allowed to take refuge in their whiteness. They became slavery to a concept that was violent, that was verbal, that was obscene, believing that they were better. And they sometimes you've heard this, that they were saying that that the term poor white trash at that time, many were called during this era, and they were content. So they were a victim of a misconception, believing that because you were white, well, it was all right, not knowing that the term white was something that was created by this construct to keep this thing going. And white, the term white is only 250 years old, if that, But so we have to kind of go outside of this construct. We have to rethink, words. We don't let nobody put it in. Look, Webster, Thorndike, whomever don't have a monopoly on the creation of words. I mean, we are out there. Once we become connected, we understand ourselves. We know when we are experiencing certain things in life. The definition is here within the heart, in the spirit. So this is how we have to redefine. We have to look at this condition, look at prisons, look at political prisoners, look at ourselves, and we have to take it from that point. And I think if we do that, we will unrelinquish our voice, right? We can really, whoever is in power, the people have the power. I mean, power to the people. It's demos, power, crass, demos people, crassy power. Democratic is people power, not Obama power. It's not, Bush power. It is not Clinton power. It is not none of the president power. It is the people power, and we have to take it back. Thank you very much.